Did you see the DC Young Fly? I think he did an interview. I don't know if it was Cam Newton or not, but he was just on a recent podcast and he was talking about, his personal situation that happened with his the mother of his child.
That I did not see.
Okay, I'm gonna play it right here.
If you look at the women today, it's a lot of women who have BBLs. Right. So I'm constantly reminded, like, they made it. They go another big booty. She made it. See what I'm saying? I get why women wants to enhance themselves. I get it. But fellas, we have to do more on just continuously telling our women that they're beautiful.
You're enough.
We have to continuously tell them that they're gorgeous. Don't make your woman feel like she has to go do something, even if you go with another chick. Like, no. You just love a woman. That's it. And women, listen to your man. Just listen. I'm not gonna sit here and tell somebody don't do what they want to do, don't do. No. People make decisions. You have to live with that as a unit. So I can't even sit here and say, oh, I'm against nothing. Oh, I'm with it. As a unit, I took a loss.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
I think it's really rough, especially in this situation that he's in, because she was an entertainer in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she had a reason to why she would want to do that. Like, it's part of the gig of when your job, especially for women, for the most part, your job in this entertainment industry, first and foremost, is to look good. Like, that is like the prerequisite for all female in any kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
Even if you go into sports a little bit, like, you have to be somewhat attractive for them to really try to push you in a real way.
For people to care.
Yeah. So it's like, it's tough in that situation. And you can, to me, I didn't know if he felt this way. It really sounds like he blames himself in that.
Yeah.
If you kind of just listen to the word and the language that he was using, he kind of blamed himself for not maybe standing on his ground a little bit more with that.
Yeah, that fucking sucks too. Like, the fact that he's blaming himself and then he's reminded on a regular basis that she could have made it.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If I was in that situation, or if I think of any kind of man in that situation, it is your fault. That's your girl, your woman, and she's going under the blade. She is essentially telling the world, my life in the body that I'm currently in is less than, and I would rather die than continue living in the body that I'm living.
I would rather put myself at risk.
No, I mean, you're saying at the end of the day, because your life you can lose your life from these procedures.
Yeah.
You're essentially saying when you sign that paperwork, anytime you go into surgery for real, because a doctor will tell you that no matter how, innocuous the surgery is, your life is at risk. You could die from this procedure.
And then I just wonder what like state of mind you have to be in for like your husband, your partner, whoever, to be like adamant, like, please no, don't do this, it's dangerous. And for you to be like, no, this is like a priority, I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially saying what I'm saying. You're putting whatever the state of your existence is at this time is not good enough for you to continue living life. Mm-hmm. And you have to change it so that you can have that outcomes that you want.
That's sad.
It is sad. And I just feel so bad that like it's just like, especially for that, it's not like this was like, oh, she had a tumor and they cut the wrong artery or something. She bled out. Like,
yeah, it was a completely unnecessary procedure.
And it was for nothing. You know what I mean? And I just feel bad for him, man. I remember there was a video that happened literally right after the DC Young Fly situation happened, like right after she passed, where folks was like, it was a dude who was saying that he was saying like, oh no, this is your fault. You did this. This is what you wanted. He was like really going in at DC Young Fly. I thought that was really rough, especially right at the timing of it. But I could also understand what they were saying, where it's like, regardless in any kind of situation, people are going to look at it and they're going to say, you was the man in the house. And what happened, you let fly. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's like, it sucks because you could be the person that's asking, no, don't do this. But everyone's going to insinuate you talking down on her. People saying that about him. They were saying like, oh no, he probably was talking to her and making her feel like she had to go do this. Like, fresh after this happened.
Yeah, people are very insensitive. Like, this man just lost the mother of his children, his wife.
Well, they never really confirmed that they were married or not, but they did. They were together. They did have multiple children together.
Yeah, like, that's not the time for you to be doing that. That's not the time for you to be blaming him for what happened to her, any of that. And then, like, I feel like it's very easy to just go on the internet and say shit like that because you don't think that he could be reading those comments and like in bed crying, sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always think about shit like that.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw him after he was on New Rory and Mall, and you could tell like, and no, I think it was actually Breakfast Club when he was up there with the 85 South show, and you could just tell where it was like, yeah, he may probably do what he got to do on stage, and but he's feeling different, like he's moving different, he's feeling different, he has more on his mind, he's probably thinking about reality in a way complicated and complex way. It's just, man, especially when
his entire life for the rest of his life has completely changed because he's gonna have to
that's a part of
his
him.
children. He's gonna have to explain this to his children
Multiple times because they're young too.
Yeah.
So it's not like this something that they
and then
can
every single holiday, birthday, it's not.
It doesn't stop.
No, it just keeps hurting. This just the exact amount. You just learn how to cope a little bit better each year.
Yeah, that's why it's just like you said, bro. At the end of the day, we was talking about it's important just to, bro. If it ain't something that you need, we gotta help each other. Like we gotta bring each other up with our words and the way that we really express our feelings for each other. Because that cosmetic stuff, granted, it can make you feel good. It can make you look good for some people, but that's the risk that you have to put out. Is it really worth it?
It's not. Before I met my husband, like I was gonna get work done. Like I had the doctor picked out. Okay, the money was there. And I was gonna get my boobs done. So that was definitely a thing. And then I was gonna do like the filler, like the hip dips and stuff. And he literally like multiple times over and over and over again looked me straight in my eye with the most intensity and was like, no, like absolutely not. Like you're perfect the way why would you do not need to do that. Like, and then I was like, okay.
I mean, because there's no point of putting yourself in a situation where you can have an allergic reaction or something. Like with so many,
never know.
With so much stuff that's just going on. Like my mom had a friend, and we can end it off here. My mom had a friend, and she was having cosmetic surgery, and they used iodine on her, and she was allergic to iodine, and it resulted in her passing away. And she literally lost her life because, and this is like really like actually this happened like really close to the time that Kanye West lost his mom. Mm-hmm. If I remember the timeline correctly, but it was a really just BS way for her to lose her life. She had a daughter. Her daughter was in a wheelchair, so she couldn't really, do too much for herself growing up and all that. Like, it was really tough just to see that happen. It was like she had a great life. She was buying cars, had her own house, and just to see it just be taken away because she was just trying to appease or look a particular way.
Yeah.
And now
she was trying to boost her confidence in some way.
Yeah, even though she had a great, from outside looking in, she looked like she had a great life.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see that people just doing that, and like I said, that's all it takes is them not knowing you allergic to something, and now you.
But then also, you might not know you're allergic to something. That's something that I am scared of too, because I have been to the hospital, like emergency room, once in my life, and it wasn't like that big a deal, but like there's lots of drugs that I have never been introduced to. So I don't know if I'm allergic to penicillin or this or that. Like, how would I know unless I go and I randomly have an allergic reaction to it? And hopefully people are paying attention to me enough to catch it. But also, I'm a black woman.
Yeah.
That also plays into it. Like, people are gonna pay less attention to me specifically because I'm a black woman in a medical space. And that's been proven. So you have to think about that too. Like, when complications arise when you go into cosmetic surgery as a black woman too, they're not gonna fucking like spring into action to save you.
No, you're right. Unfortunately, they're not gonna care. They're not gonna give it a second thought. They're gonna do everything they gotta do by the book. Mm-hmm. But that's literally where it stops and starts.
Yeah, and then if you're having an allergic reaction to something that neither you or them knew, then it's washing their hands. They're done. That's it. It's it's a days of paperwork, and then that's it.
That's all it is. Just a couple signatures, and into the morgue you go. That's all that happens. So, hey, man, everybody, I know it seems like you want that and it feels like your life can't get there. I understand there's some results that you can't get in the gym. Like a lot of guys will say, oh, you just need to go in the gym. No, you can't get some of these results in the gym.
Sometimes you're just not built like that.
But if you got family, if you got people,
though.
But my thing is, if you got family, if you got kids and stuff like that, you got to be mindful of that. The people I've known who've done it didn't have kids. They didn't have nobody besides their mama and stuff that cared about them like that. So if that's what you got to do that. But once you start bringing kids in this world, hey, man, I know pregnancy does a horrible thing to your body, but appreciate those scars. Don't try to feel like you got to alter what you look like because you brought somebody into this world. Like, that was a great feat in and of itself.
Yeah, that's really sad.